Happy Monday, everybody, or whatever day you're watching this. We're gonna talk about Hearthstone, and we're coming back a little bit. It's pretty cool. The channel has been very slow the past couple of weeks, understandably so, but the mini set comes out tomorrow, and let's just talk about the mini set. Let's talk about how you should be buying the mini set if you're a budget player and why. Let's talk about the loner decks. Let's just have some discussions. So I'm not going to give any deck suggestions this week. Last week's video will absolutely still work for you. I will link it in the description below. Obviously, it's super new. We're gonna have some shakeups in the next 24 hours after this video goes live. So let's talk about, before we go into the craziness, let's talk about the win rates. We got Paladin, Shaman, Hunter, Mage. Those are all strong. Those are all above 50%. Druid's expensive right now, but there is a couple of decks that you can play. Death Knight is crazy expensive if you're playing Rainbow. Rogue is still doing rogue things. You'll still win games with that. And most of the weapon rogue decks are below 2,500 or 3,000 dust. Priest, I don't know what Priest is doing right now. Demon Hunter, Warrior, and Warlock. The mini set is going to shake things up. Do I think that Warlock's going to go up to number one in the win rates? No, absolutely not. But I believe that the mini set will shake some stuff up. Let's go right into just talking about some of the mini set stuff. Let's see. So the first thing I'm seeing is it's $5 more expensive. The way it's set up now is there's I think 10 or 11 more cards. I normally suggest to everybody, if you're playing on a budget, to definitely get the mini sets. Last time, during the mini set that came out for Perils in Paradise, it wasn't that great. It did not do a lot. I think maybe a couple of them were pretty good, but it was just, it didn't move the meta around at all, really. Maybe one or two cards. And I like the idea of being able to spend $14 or $15 or the amount of gold that you do, and you'll be able to get the mini set, and you'll be able to have so many options for cards. Either you can dust those cards if you're getting cards that you have no intention of ever playing the class, you could dust those, or you just have a lot of opportunities to expand your collection. And that's a good thing, because some of these cards might not be playable today, but they might be amazing down the road when the next set comes out, or when the meta, changes or refines or what have you. But for this one, for an extra $10, $20, I think with how, I don't want to use the word stale, but how, mainlined the meta has been for the past 30 days, and what we've seen is just the same old, and a lot of the cards that are in all of these decks that we've been seeing ad nauseum for like 60 days or what have you, it's just older cards, and none of the new sets are really, making a huge impact, except for, a couple of classes here or there. I think this is going to shake things up. So I am absolutely suggesting, if you are a budget player, to be messing around with the Heroes of Starcraft card. It's just looks awesome. To go over this, just to make sure I'm doing this right, 2,500 gold, usually 2,000 gold. I mean, depending on your play style, how much time you're playing, it's not too terrible to get 2,500 gold. So if you cannot spend the $20 on it, definitely consider spending the gold. But to switch it up, and listen, I'm not going to go into deep detail here. I like the idea of, the way it used to be with mini sets is you would have a couple of cards for your class, for each one of the classes, then you'd have some neutrals. Here, there's a little bit more of a refinement in there has to be stuck to the 3 factions from Starcraft, but I feel also that there's a lot more maneuverability in the cards, and like a cohesion of the cards are playing for the other cards, and it's not just a mishmash of, hey, here's 40 cards that you might be able to play together. I think all of these work really well, and I think all of these have the potential to work really well regardless of what classes. So Death Knight, I'm looking at Death Knight right here, and I'm seeing some awesome options. These are for Zerg. So Death Knight, Demon Hunter, and Warlock. So we have Death Knight cards that are Zerg specific, and then there's some Zerg neutral cards that can be played for all of those classes as well. And it looks like we're going to throw out a bunch of Zerg minions, Banelings, Zerglings. Yeah, this one's pretty cool. Your Zerg minions have +1/+1 for the rest of the game. So maybe something like this with hand buff. I like the ideas for this here. I'm okay with all of these Death Knight cards that I'm seeing. Summon a minion from your opponent's hand. Your other Zerg minions gain Reborn and attack it. And then this Baneling Barrage. Get a 1/1 Baneling that explodes. If you control a Zerg minion, get another Baneling. So this is what the Baneling looks like. Deal damage equal to this minion's attack to all enemy minions. This is going to clear boards. Depending on what you're using it with, it'll absolutely clear boards. So I'm excited for the Death Knight cards specific for this mini set. Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter's got Lurker. After a friendly minion attacks, deal 1 damage to a random enemy, or 2 if your minion is a Zerg. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Here's the other Zerg minions, right? This is pretty cool. I don't know how crazy it's going to be with the existing cards from the Demon Hunter. I can't think of anything besides Pirate or Aggro Demon Hunter that would change this, but Mutalisk also damages minions next to whoever this attacks and the enemy hero if a neighbor is missing. Okay, this one's pretty good. That's going to do some damage, and then your Zerg minions have +1 attack and rush last 3 turns. All of these are really cool. The card pool is here, it looks like. Yeah, Zergling, Brood Queen, and Larva. Okay, so these are the Zerg minions that it's put together with. Thank you, Hearthstone, for setting this up, because I wouldn't have gotten that. These look cool. It looks strong. It looks powerful. It looks very easy to play. So we've got those two, and then what else? Yeah, we already went through here. So let's look at the rest of the Zergs and see if we can try to... Hunter's got Zergs as well. Hydralisk, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. Repeat for each other Zerg minion you control. When you draw this, get a copy of it. Battlecry if you control another Zerg. It's just a lot of... Listen, Zerg is really, really overwhelming if you let it get going. And I like the flavor of all of these. Give your minions +1 attack. Give your Zerg an extra +1/+1. These are pretty broken. Let's look at the neutral Zerg minions. Oh, Warlock has it too, so we'll just go through that. Warlock, consume, remove 1 durability from a friendly location to restore 8 health to your hero. Okay. This one here. Warlock is weird. I don't get Warlock. So you need this one to work this one unless you have another location, but why are you using other locations? Deal 1 damage to all enemies. Death Rattle, summon an 8/8 Ultralisk with Rush. So does this mean that if any of your damage does Death Rattle, or is this when it's done being, like when you've used all the charges of the location? That's a little weird. I don't know. And then the Spine Crawler, I've seen other people mentioning this before, is like taunt, can't attack, has +3 attack if you control a location. So why is it in here? Because it's a 1/6? With how crazy everything else is that I've seen, just, you know, looking at the rest of the Zergs, if you're fighting another Zerg-controlled class, that's nothing. They'll get rid of this easily. So, I don't know about that one. Let's look at, like I said, the neutral Zerg minions. Here's Kerrigan. I love hero cards. Summon 2/5 Brood Queens, deal 3 damage to all enemies. Here is the hero power. Deal 3 damage, randomly split among all enemies. Improved by Zerg minions you control. This one's going to be broken. Here's the cosmetics. I've mentioned before that the cosmetics aren't doing anything for me signature card-wise, because it's just a little bit weirder than normal, not being like traditional Hearthstone. But each his own, you know. It's cool art. I'm not discounting that. I just don't know if I'm going to rush to try to get all of those. But yeah, this is going to be pretty cool. Brood Queen. At the end of your turn, get a larva that transforms into random Zerg minions. Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty broken. Pretty cool. You can play this with Death Knight, Demon Hunter, and Warlock. Zergling we've already seen. Brood Queen we've already seen. Spawning Pool, give it a 1/1 Zergling. Your extra minions have rush during this turn. Nidus Worm, draw 2 Zerg cards. They cost 1 less, so cheaper Zerg cards. Seems interesting. More powerful in some decks than others, in some classes than others. Warlock, it just confuses me. Maybe there's something there that I'm just not seeing to go through. We've already done that. Let's go look at Druid with the Protoss. Immortal, Taunt, Divine Shield, Battlecry, spend 4 mana to double this minion's stats. Okay, that's kind of crazy. For this being as heavy as it's going to be, that's pretty good for Taunt being 10-16 if you're spending 4 mana. That's pretty nuts. At the end of your turn, summon 4/1 interceptors that attack random enemy minion. Ooh, that's also strong. And then your next Protoss card this turn costs 2 less. Okay. I mean, Druid's really expensive right now. Druid's in a weird place with Dungar and everything, but it would be kind of silly not to put Carrier into Dungar Druid, maybe. Let's see. What else is the Protoss? Mage. There we go. Colossus. Deal 1 damage to all enemies twice. Improved by Protoss spells. You cast this game. Resonance Coil, not Resonance. Deal 5 damage to a minion, get a random Protoss spell. Shield Battery, gain 6 armor. Your next Protoss spell costs 2 less. These seem very fun. Mage is normally a lot of spells, not a lot of minions, so it'll be interesting to see what this does. 1 damage to all enemies twice, and then if you can improve it by Protoss spells, you'll be able to make that even stronger. That's pretty cool. You'll absolutely need to have Shield Battery in there to make... No, because that's a spell. Your next Protoss spell costs 2 less. Ooh, how are we going to discount that one? That one's pretty expensive. What else is Protoss here? Priest. Mothership. Taunt, Battlecry, and Death Rattle get 2 random Protoss minions. That seems strong, but it's going to have to be reduced. Summon a copy of a friendly Protoss minion. It takes double damage for hallucination. Not a fan of that. Actually, though, there's a downside to this one. I don't hate this one, but there's a downside to playing this. But of course, Priest copying your cards, I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of anybody copying your cards. Sentry, Lifesteal, Death Rattle, your Protoss minions cost 1 less this game. Okay, that helps. So 2 sentries, and maybe this could be played lower. We'll see. And then Rogue. Rogue's going to be fun. Dark Templar, Stealth, Battlecry, destroy an enemy minion, play another Templar to merge into an Archon. Let's see what the Archon looks like. At the end of your turn, deal 8 damage to the enemy hero and 2 damage to their minions. Yeah, that's gross. That's gross. Now... Yeah, wait. So draw a Protoss minion, it costs 2 less. You have this. There's some nutty stuff potentially happening. Play another Templar to merge into our... Okay, so these are the Templars, so it's not 2 of them, so you need 2 of those. Yeah, with Rogue being able to discount everything, I think this is going to be gross. And then Blink is going to make it even grosser. What other Protoss are there? Artanis. Summon 2 3/4 lives with charge. Your Protoss minions cost 2 less this game. This one's also nutty. Give a friendly minion in your hero +1 attack this turn in Divine Shield. Yeah, these hero cards are really cool. Void Ray, Rush, Divine Shield. If these cost 0, gain +2/+2. Draw 2 Protoss cards. Summon a 3/4 out with charge. There's some crazy stuff here. Your next Protoss minion costs 3 less. So, like I said, this is how you're going to get it to be reduced. Deal 3 damage to this minion. Your Protoss minions cost 1 less this game. So it's just, listen, if Rogue can discount it, it's going to be broken. So that looks very strong. And you can use all of those cards for multiple classes. So that's pretty cool. What else? We're going to probably have to go back up. We're just missing the Terran now. Okay, Paladin. One of my favorite classes. Paladin, Hellion. Your other minions have +1 attack. Transformed if you launched a starship this game and it's a Hellbat. Your other minions have +2 attack and rush. That's kind of cool, even though it's pretty... it's a 4/4, and then it'll be stronger. It'll be... Yeah, 4... I don't know about that one. I don't know if I'd be playing this or hand buff, but, we'll see. Ultra capacitor starship piece. Starships, perfect. We'll be able to get the battle cruiser. Gain +1/+1 for each other friendly minion. Also triggers on launch. Okay, that's kind of cool. Actually, that is kind of cool. Salvage the bunker. Summon two Marines with taunt. Your next starship launch costs 2 less. I like that. Cheaper starship launchers. Let's go into another Terran class. Shaman. Siege tank. Deal 10 damage to a random enemy minion. Transforms if you launched a starship this game, and then it would be deal 10 damage to a random enemy minion. I don't like the random part. Let me target it so I can do crazy damage to the enemy hero, but I'll deal with it. Missile pod looks cool. Deal 1 damage to all enemies. Triggers on launch. That makes perfect sense. And then lock on. Set a minion's health to 1. Your next starship launch costs 2 less. That's cool as well. And then go over to Warrior. Thor, deal 5 damage. Transformed, you've launched a starship this game. Deal 5 damage and then repeat at a random enemy for each starship you've launched this game. That's gonna be pretty heavy. Yamato cannon, starship piece, destroy a random enemy minion, also triggers on launch. Okay, and then concussive shells, deal 2 damage and gain 2 armor. Your next starship launch costs 2 less. That one's pretty cool as well. Let's look at the Terran cards. So Raynor is a little crazy. Battle cry, relaunch every starship that you've launched this game. So if you could do 2 or 3 and then you could just relaunch them, that's gonna be crazy. I don't know if that's possible, but the signature looks pretty cool. I think this one's my favorite signature of all of them. Like I said, not running and gunning for this. And then the 2 mana hero power is summon a 2/2 Marine with taunt. Give your Terran minions +2 attack. I like that. The SCV, your next starship launch costs 2 less, so I like reducing the starship launches. Ghost is stealth battle cry. If you're building a starship, destroy the lowest cost card in your opponent's hand. I'm hoping that no one else but the Terran can keep that. Lift off. Draw 2 Terran cards, summon a 2/1 starship piece with an effect when launched. That's going to be nuts. So it's just, 2 damage to all enemies, 5 damage to a random enemy, 3 random bonus effects, 7 armor gained, 2/2 Marines with taunt. I love that card. That's cool. And then Starport, summon a 2/1 starship piece with an effect when launched. It's the same effects. I'm liking these. That's going to be cool. And then to break it all down, Grunty. Grunty is, hold on, I'll go back to that. Battlecry, summon 4 random Murlocs, then shoot them at enemy minions and you pick the targets. So when I looked at this, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. The animation's pretty cool. You can pick the targets. But then I look at the card pool of what available random Murlocs it is, and I only see like 1 or 2 that are halfway decent. This one won't work because it's, you'd have to have excavated twice, and it's not getting you that battle cry. This one right here, it'll have Divine Shield, but your your minions won't normally have Divine Shield, so +2 attack. This might work a little bit. After a friendly minion dies, summon a random minion that costs 1 more. That would be kind of cool. I just don't know if the effect will work. You're not going to get this one all the time. This one here, the battle cry is not going to work. Probably you're not going to get the Gigantify. This one's... I don't see very many of this one works. Maybe you mutating life form because it's a 3/8. Plucky Paint Fin would probably kill the minion because it is a poisonous. So that one's pretty cool. I don't see Bayfin doing anything besides maybe staying on the board being a 4/7. This one's not going to work. It's not a battle cry. This Death Rattle might work a little bit. Crowd Surfer might work if hopefully that's the first one you're hitting. Adaptive Amalgam might work. You'll be able to keep it in your deck, but that might screw up your deck. I just don't see any of these being... This one might work too, Morlock Warlock. I don't see any of these being, oh my god, this is a great card. It's a cool card. The diamond card looks awesome on this. I just don't see it being heavy play besides maybe some meme things. But I could be wrong. I am a lot wrong. But in terms of value for this set, I think you being able to pick up the set for $20 or 2,500 gold, you being able to play any classes with maybe this is really set up. This might be really set up to where if you play like standard, core cards that are free for each one of the classes and then throw these cards in, you might have something going. And I think that's what other people are thinking as well. Don't need to have all the crazy new cards that were in the last regular set, the Great Dark Beyond. Maybe not. We'll see what happens. But in terms of, dust value, in terms of how many cards you're getting to complete your collection for the price, you cannot go wrong with that one. And then, to switch it all up right now, and maybe I'll do something a little bit more because this was 20 minutes. I do feel that the cards, the loner decks that you get for either a returning player or a player that, has finished the apprentice or the newbie track of it, you get a loner deck. And this loner deck, I think the last ones that were released in September are much better. If I'm playing this, I'm not picking Elemental Mage. It's only 2,800 dust. I would think that I would want to put more into it, even though, it's got a good win rate. I just, I'm trying to get something with a lot of value that I can use all over the place. And some of these cards you're going to get super fast because it's just a cheap deck. Sauron is the only one in here that's a legendary. Libram Paladin's kind of the same thing. A lot of these, it was 6,240 dust. Same thing with Starship, Death Knight. Yeah, I mean, this card right here, Reska, being the only one of the legendaries in it, I don't know if I'd keep Exodar. Like, I'm looking right now at all of them saying that Hunter. And I'm not even saying, like, Odin. I would think, like, oh, Odin might be a thing. I'm not seeing Odin being strong, even though it's got a lot of legendary cards. So if you're doing this to try to get, like, those legendary cards, it looks like Odin Warrior would be better because this one's got Ignis, which is neutral. Ham is a warrior, so don't worry about that. Odin is a warrior, but this one has Ziliax. This one has Ceaseless Expanse. But yeah, out of all of them still, I wouldn't even grab the Asteroid Shaman. Yeah, it's just not anything. I mean, even though this deck right here, Asteroid Shaman, is busted. So you will be winning some games on this. It's a pretty good deck, but if I'm looking at all of these right now, I would say that Discover Hunter just has so much more that you can use. It's got Gorgon Zormu. That card is amazing. It's got Grifta, and with the Discover mechanic from this, it's got the Titan. It's got Ziliax. Yeah, I would be shocked if a lot of people are not picking this. This is the one I would pick. I would pick the Discover Hunter because there's a bunch of cards that you can use, and you could use it for just not this specific deck. So look, what is in every deck you've seen in the past 60 days? Ziliax. What's the other card? Gorgon Zormu. Those two right there are pretty good. Yes, you're going to have to main, Discover if you have nothing besides a couple of cards here and there, but this is the one I would do. And the win rates are pretty good. So that's it. I hope you're excited for the mini set like I am. We will return to regular budget decks next week. We will most likely have a lot to talk about. With the fact is there's going to be new cards in the set. Maybe there's going to be some shakeups. I'm hoping that the decks stay as cheap as possible. And yeah, if you like what I'm doing, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.